Yeah, bank set. Young Rising, you know. I don't know what the fuck to say, but you know.
Yep, it's your boy. Here's Savage back at it again with another Streetbeefs Commentary. Man, got a good treat for you guys, man. This the one you all been waiting for. I've been saying that I was gonna do a reaction to this for so long, and it's been long overdue, man. I've been looking at the video. I've been looking at this video for a while, and every time I go through the comments, man, I just be like, yeah, man, I gotta make a reaction because there's a lot of confusion regarding what had happened during this fight, and yeah, it's about time that I do a reaction. That way it's better explain it. But right now we're gonna be doing a reaction to my first Streetbeefs fight against Sir Spiffy. This fight here, this was my first time going to Streetbeefs. And it was just me and my brother, man. We took the 14-hour road trip up there and then took another 14 back. So it was kind of like a 24-hour trip in a sense. Yeah, we rode all the way up there, man, and was ready for war or whatever the case, man. I felt pretty good going into the fight. I was like one of the first people that got there, got to see the gang, how they do their little pre-fight matchups or whatever the case. It was a good amount of people out there because if I'm not mistaken, they had like this big fight going on, and actually it was right after our fight where Big Smile went against Shinigami or whatever the case may be, and I think that day in particular it was going to be like a big event or whatever the case, but either because of that or because of the stuff that they had going on during that event or whatever the case. I kind of wish that they had like a whole playlist of all their events during that certain day, so that way we can go back and watch them all or whatever the case. I feel like they probably need to do that. That may be something that they may want to keep in mind for future reference. But yeah, it was a bunch of fights, man. It was a hyped up event, and my opponent was Sir Spiffy. Going into it, I didn't know who my opponent was because you don't necessarily know who you're fighting until you get in there and they start matching you up. But once I found out who it was, you know, I kind of had my game face on or whatever the case may be. Like I watched a few fights or whatever the case that was before us, and then I remember like one fight, I can't remember who it was that was fighting. I remember one fight, I was like closest to the cage and like just pretty much watching inside, like, you know, what was going down or whatever the case. And it's funny because for whatever reason, I ended up looking up. Just had to, like, you know, find out what was going on. I look up and I see Sir Spiffy across the way, and like this man was eyeing me down, man. Like I don't know if it's appropriate to be saying like he was staring daggers at me, but the man pretty much was sizing me up from afar, and I guess trying to get a beat on what kind of fighter I am or my attitude or temperament or whatever the case. But I don't know if he picked up on it, but I kind of peeped that he peeped me, and we was peeping each other to see what we was dealing with or whatever the case. But after that fight, I think our fight was next or something like that. Maybe a fight after that fight, but it got time for us to step in the cage. We walk in. And mind you, it was like in March, I think, so it was still somewhat cold. And I walk in, I had like some white gym shorts. I had like a red thermal on my legs, and then I had like a blue thermal along with another blue shirt on. And I ain't gonna lie, man, I shouldn't have wore that shit, that mess, that mess, that crap. It really like I want to say hindered my movements, because everything's so tight and sucked in, but because I was so cold and I didn't warm up for that one, like, I don't know what it is with me and warming up before I get into a fight, but I gotta stop doing that, because a lot of times I feel like my best performances come after I warm up. My second fight, I warmed up, and I feel like till this day that's like my best performance so far. And like I said, yeah, I didn't warm up, so I was feeling every bit of that cold. Like, I was shivering beforehand, and when I got inside the cage, I kind of had to like numb up and kind of like not show that. But I felt like maybe if I would have took off some of those clothes, I would have been able to do a little bit more, a little bit better than I did, or whatever the case may be. So, like I said, I came in with all that clothing on. This man only got on what? I think it was like wrestling shoes. I think he had on wrestling shoes, and that's right, I had my shoes on too because I noticed he had his shoes on. So he had on wrestling shoes and fucking, my bad. And he had on, that and some dang on, I want to say wrestling drawers, man, but they probably might not be wrestling drawers. I don't know what you would call them. I don't know what they are, but. And when this man came in like that, man, I'm like, bro, this man ain't stick out cold or nothing. Like, what's going on? But yeah, he came in. They let me know too. Also, like when I seen his shoes that he was a wrestler, and I was like, okay, so I'm dealing with one of these guys. So I already know I need to like not kick as much. If I do kick, need to kick to the leg, break him down, and throw a bunch of strikes to where he's kind of confused or whatever the case. I'll let you watch the fight to see how that went down. But yeah, man, this is my first fight, and also it get to a point like after the, I think it's somewhere in the second round that may be somewhere confusing. So it's gonna be a little bit weird, but I'm gonna do my best to kind of like explain it as it's going, so that way there's no confusion, there's no drop in the video or whatever the case may be. So yeah, like I say, Sir Spiffy versus Kid Savage, my first Street Beefs fight. Here we go.
5'10", 160, Sir Spiffy, 0-0 in Satan's backyard.
My height, 6 feet.
I didn't even know Sir Spiffy was at 160. Or if I did, I kind of forgot.
Come with me and take me down here. I want to shout out my homeboys, Millennium guys.
This was the beginning of my long intros.
And the 1%ers. I'm out here doing it for y'all. Let's do it.
Street Beefs, we're back with another MMA match. In this corner, we got Kid Savage, 0-0 in Satan's backyard.
Yeah, see how all that mess I had
And in
on?
this corner, we got King Spiffy.
This guy don't even got on barely next to
0-0 in
nothing.
Satan's backyard.
So you know he getting
Say,
all the
fellas,
full
fight hard.
aerodynamicness of his limbs and be able to move everywhere.
You ready? Oh, Mr. Mike.
Start off with a jab, and then end up with a lead leg kick, and then follow that up with a rear leg kick. I wasn't trying to do anything. He just had a good shot. He was able to get in close and back me up against the cage. If I would have known better, I would have gave up that choke and put my arm up on his chin and try to push his head up to defend the takedown better. I gave up that one leg. He was able to get me for a big takedown. He was inside control, and I didn't want him to be there. So I was able to put my hands on his hip, and I was able to regain guard quite easily. Now, had I would have known and kept my arms tight enough on his neck, I think I would have got the early submission, but I wasn't aware of that. So, having to give up neck, I just trapped the arm and gave him only one arm to work with while I was just trying to control guard. I was trying to trap his other arm, but I knew eventually he was going to bring it up to try to throw down some kind of strike. He was able to throw down a nice little strike, threw down a hard strike. It hit me, but I don't know. I don't think I felt it too much. I wasn't really worried about it. I was too busy trying to set up my own offense, trying to go for a triangle. I didn't mind his arm being, that one arm being in, as long as I trapped that other arm. Once I got the legs over, I should have grabbed his legs so that way he wasn't able to stand up. If I was able to do that, I would have been able to get off the triangle choke. I had 2 submission opportunities and I messed up on both of them. I didn't have his arm bar, I just had it up there as a defense because the round was ending. But he did a good job, man. I'll give him that round because of aggressiveness in the takedown. So it started the second round, it came out, he threw a nice little leg. He came out, did the same thing pretty much what I did. I returned along with him. I see him reaching down for it. So I was able to throw like a teep to the leg and through the chaos. And that's what I was saying in one of my videos, that a lot of times when you're blocking, if you're not blocking and you get hit, sometimes you'll end up going with the shot if you don't keep a solid base. He tagged me right there. I was blocking most of those shots. Had a sloppy block, but it still was able to do something. He stopped and I had threw it straight to get him off rhythm. I think around this point he started getting a little tired, and you can kind of tell. I was able to throw a block. For some reason he stopped and I was able to get off a nice 1-2. I think he really was starting to get tired, and instead of taking advantage of that, I threw the wildest, sloppiest hook, and he was able to take me down, and he got me to the ground from there. I was able to get to my knees, and if I exploded hard enough, I would have been able to get to my feet again. Because he got the takedown, but he wasn't able to finish it. And like I said, if I would have exploded, I would have been able to get his back. Because I noticed he gassed around that time, and he was like breathing real heavy. So at this point, I was just holding him down. Tried to regain guard. He had half guard, but I was able to regain guard. He was able to posture up, throw like a little short range elbow. And this is where they had to break it up for blood. Now, and that was when Face asked the timekeeper how much time we had left. Once he found out it wasn't enough, then he just called it. That was the second round. So pretty much this is just us going back to our corners. They're cleaning him up, and I think this is the end of the second round. Yeah, it's the end of the second round because they cleaning him up, and I'm over there in my corner getting my corner advice or whatever the case. A lot of people was confused thinking that they messed up the video, but I remember commenting on there that they cut the video. For whatever reason, I don't know why, the video just ended up getting cut. So they end up cutting it, and you only end up seeing like the first round, the ending of the second round, and then the third round. Well, half of the third round, because I guess they didn't record the start of the third round, but they ended up catching like the midway point of the third round. So that's why you got somewhat of a mixed up situation when it comes to that fight, to the main video on their YouTube channel. I keep always trying to tell people, like, you know, watch the fight on the Streetbeefs Live channel or whatever the case. And at the time it was Streetbeefs Live, but then since they changed it, I guess that's what made it harder for people to find. And either that or people just don't got the time and patience to go and look for something that should already be there. But here's the start of the third round. Pretty much more the same. I came out there, southpaw. He tried to grapple up with me and take me down, but I was able to keep my base strong enough. I think he was really holding on because he was tired, and him trying to go for another takedown, I was able to kind of hold my position and end up reversing the takedown attempt to where I ended up on his back. So now I got his back. His arm was still around me, but I still had his back, and I was able to start throwing off strike. He moves on his back, and now I'm in mount position. You can't really see it from here, but you can see that I'm starting to throw down ground and pound strike. If anything, I'll probably switch it back to the to where they stopped it at on the Facebook channel. Here I was already ringing down ground and pound and beating him up because I was already on top of him after him trying to take me down. So I was able to kind of like take advantage of his mistake. They stopped it again for blood. And this is where the part of the video that you guys be seeing on there and y'all get confused about. Because they stopped it again for blood in the third round. They cleaned them up, and then they restarted us back in the position that they stopped us in. So this is just them cleaning them up. I'm over there in the neutral corner. Can't go to my corner because this is stop for blood. I was talking to, what's the guy name that was fighting for Streetbeefs a lot? He's a heavyweight guy. He was giving me some pointers or whatever the case while they stopped or whatever the case. Probably illegal, maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, they pretty much trying to get him back out because it's a stop for blood. It's not the end of the round. It's not the end of the second round. This is the start of the third round. And the start of the third round, pretty much what happened, he wrapped up with me. We was battling for position. I was able to shake him off. I got his back, and he turned on his back, and I had mount, and I was raining down strikes. Now here they putting us back in position, and they're pretty much letting it go. And now we back at the start of the middle of the third round. I was on top, already raining down strikes. This time he's holding me down to prevent me from throwing strikes. But I realized that since my punches can't get him, I could throw elbows. So now here I'm just raining down elbows, number elbows. The closer he get close up clinched with me, the better I figured that, you know, I can't throw punches, so let me throw elbows. His head was all open to one side, so I was able to throw down punches. And from here on, just nothing but an onslaught of just punches. Had I had better gear that I was wearing, I would have been able to sink my hooks, but for me, for some reason, I feel like I can't sink my hooks in when I got shoes on until he rolled me to my back, which was pretty much was a good job by him. He pretty much did what he was supposed to do, but I don't think he knew what to do from there. He rolled me to my back, and I sunk in to choke the end around in the dominant position. And I believe this is what the judges mostly saw that kind of gave them the impression that, okay, maybe he might have, like, he probably won that
Street
decision.
Beefs, real quick before I start, shout out to our gear sponsor, X Marshall. Check out their link below. Listen, we have 5 judges. 3 of them voted for one man, 2 voted for the other. The winner is... Good fight, guys.
Yeah.
Good fight.
I was surprised. I'll tell you why.
Once again, my dogs.
All that dang on mulch in my hair,
John Almighty,
mulch in my face.
They're doing great things, so check them out.
Yeah, man, but yeah, I hope this kind of made things a little bit easier for people who's watching to understand what actually went down, because like I say, I be seeing those comments, and it's like people don't take the time to actually go and actually look for the stuff that you tell them. And I get, you know, people be busy or whatever the case, so I ain't really too strung up about that, but I would at least expect people to do their due diligence and, you know, check something out before just saying, oh, that, you know, that they cheated or that they did this and they did this for him. It was nothing of the sorts. I end up, like I say, he ended up wrapping up with me the start of the third round. I was able to kind of control my balance, like center myself, and end up reversing his takedown attempt to where I ended up on his back or whatnot, and then him ended up on his back. Well, with me ended up on his back, and then subsequently ended up in mount. And I was just pretty much controlling and raining down strikes from there. Pretty much I won that third round, basically, in a sense. So yeah, man, like in that match, it was my first, so I kind of had probably some of the jitters. I'm not gonna lie. That's probably what took hold of me. Not only that, having the jitters and then being cold, and like, I don't know what it is, man, but when I'm cold, man, my bones don't want to cooperate, so I'm kind of like stiff in a way, where I'm throwing strikes, but I'm not trying to be too open up because I don't want to gust the wind to hit my body and do woo, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, like I say, it wasn't my best performance by far, by a long shot. If anything, that was probably my worst. Spiffy came out there, you know, he had a lot of tenacity, a lot of grit, but I think after that big slam in the first, I think he might have gassed himself out. And granted, he was still in there. I ain't gonna say he was out of it completely. He was still in there, still doing his thing, but you could tell that he was starting to wane a little bit. And then if I was had the wherewithal enough, I was supposed to have been able to go in there and take advantage of him slowing down or whatever the case. In which case I kind of did, because there was a lot of mistakes that he made on his part that I did take advantage of. But there was many more mistakes and many more opportunities where I could have took advantage of and implement more of my striking or whatever the case may be, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, it was a okay performance by myself. Like I said, Spiffy did a good job. I was out of my performances, if I had to rate down, I would probably say that's probably like a decent 4 or 5, if even. Because I feel like I could have did more, could have did better. But you know, it's a learning lesson, and sometimes, you know, we got to go through these things so that we can improve to be better. But you know, that's that, man. I mean, shoot, I did my first fight reaction. I think that was the IB fight. Y'all should be getting ready to see that soon. And yeah, man, this has been your boy Kid Savage with another Street Beefs reaction. I'm gonna keep these fights, these commentaries coming a little bit more on timely from here on out. Right now, I'm preparing for a fight this month, the 25th. Yeah, and hopefully, provided everything willing, I'm able to get up there and put on another performance. I put my name in the hat for MMA and kickboxing this time around because I noticed that I've been paired up with a lot of wrestlers, and I know it's not on purpose or anything like that, but I'm just getting to a point where it's like, you know, I want to like show off a little bit of my stand-up, what I can do standing up, so I chose to apply for kickboxing or Muay Thai. It don't really matter. I should have made Muay Thai my main preference, but kickboxing is fine too. So if anything, the next video y'all might see me in, it may be a kickboxing match. I may do both kickboxing and MMA that day, who knows, depending on how I'm feeling. But yeah, I just finished up all my reactions, and now just to get them to y'all as the time come up for me to go and do my fight, excuse me. So hopefully this been a little bit more insightful for you guys to see that the first fight, it wasn't no weirdness. And then people say that I was surprised that I won. Yeah, I was kind of surprised because I felt like maybe they probably would have gave it to him because of all the wrestling that he was doing. Granted, he wasn't doing much damage, but the wrestling and the control part of it, he was doing a good job at. So I figured that they probably would have gave it to him, so that's why I was surprised as well. But yeah, man, I'm growing and evolving every day. From that fight, I was able to kind of like see where I went wrong, and my second fight, I was a little bit better. So be on the lookout for that one. This has been your boy Kid Savage, and this has been another Street Beefs Commentary. Peace.
Living record, yeah.